Welcome back to Crystal Clear on the Roundtable. I'm AwestruckVox, and very quickly, I wanted to touch on an issue a lot of fans had with the most recent episodes of Steven Universe. Now, first and foremost, there are issues present in these episodes. Now, I personally was not surprised when we had, a plethora of towny episodes. Yeah, we had 2 Paradise episodes, but the other 4 being town-oriented and being centered on Steven and Connie did not come as a shock. Because the events of Steven Universe 1 were so huge, having some downtime while things are still kind of depressing and sad and dreary was to be expected. It's always been the norm for the show. Yet throughout these episodes, more so when Dewey wins in Gemcation, one thing kept popping up in my mind. Steven's a fucking hypocrite. No, seriously, how many times has this guy gone off on the gems saying, you guys don't tell me anything, you always keep secrets from me? Yet, he doesn't tell the gems anything about what happened on Homeworld, and they're just okay with it. I'm not sure if he even explained how he got back to Earth, because when he's walking Connie home in Dewey Wins, he's explaining everything that just happened. Now, I don't think he's repeating himself, so that means in that house, he didn't say anything. He was just like, I'm back, okay, let me take Connie home. Like, what? Someone else involved in Pink Diamond's murder may still be out there. The relationship between the Diamonds is in shambles. And yes, of course, Lars is still on Homeworld, yet he doesn't mention any of this to the gems. They spend the entirety of Gemcation trying to pry the information out of him, and he's just like, Connie hates me, nothing else matters. Now, while it wasn't too big of a deal, it wouldn't have been a deal at all if Steven just explained to the gems, hey, yeah, all this stuff happened, the Diamonds are looking for me on Homeworld, but just wanted to let you guys know, there may be more than what it seems to Pink Diamond, and yes, this issue will be addressed later on in the season, but why wasn't that addressed right away? I'm assuming there's something in the outline for the season that says, okay, so later on in this episode, this is when Steven brings up the Diamond thing, and the gems were like, what? And then that's probably how we get Pearl and Rose's backstory, but he still could have informed the gems and had the show focus on the consequences of that later on. I don't know, that really bugged me. But anyways, I wanted to talk about Lars. Everyone's demanding Lars, Lars, Lars. And the biggest complaint I've seen from these episodes is that Steven has barely mentioned Lars. He hasn't made an attempt to visit him at all. What gives? And I just wanted to share my perspective and understanding of the situation. And it goes deeper than, okay, Steven didn't have Lion, so he couldn't visit Lars. Which, even though that was the reason, it wasn't brought to our attention until Kevin Party, which is also a pretty big L on the Crewniverse's part. Seriously, could have to have Lion dialogue saying, oh, Lion, he's gone. But I digress. While I do think Steven should have mentioned to the gems that Lars is stranded on Homeworld, but he has some off-color gems assisting him, I don't have an issue with Steven actually trying to visit him. Why is that? For Steven to try and frequently visit Lars would defeat the purpose of Lars's head. He'd be going directly against Lars's wishes. Now yes, it is a pretty bleak situation for Lars. He's on a planet he's never been on before, at a time where its leaders are absolutely furious looking for Rose Quartz, aka Steven. And even though he's changed in hue, the Diamonds still know what he looks like. But let's truly look at Steven and Lars's relationship. Throughout the entirety of the series, almost every predicament Lars got himself in, Steven was the one to pull him out. Hell, Sadie too. The end of The Good Lars is Sadie lamenting that, hey, maybe I'm putting too much time on Lars. Maybe I need some time to focus on myself. While Steven will definitely always be there for Lars, Lars's growth, his maturity as a person, needs to come from himself. Getting back to Earth is a mission he needs to do on his own. And he's not completely stranded. He's not completely screwed over. He does have the off-colors with him, and they said, we know this planet. Steven's never even been on Homeworld before. It's not like he can necessarily guide Lars around, but the off-colors can. And while the off-colors were in danger because of the shattering robonoids detecting their gemstones, Lars is organic. He doesn't have a gemstone, which means he can protect them. If Steven threw himself into the wrench, it would severely complicate things. As painful as it is to admit, Steven is nothing but a liability on Homeworld. Lars even said, you gotta go. He said, you're always trying to help me. You brought me back to life. Let me be someone who deserved it. Lars wants to earn coming back to Earth, because frankly at this point, he acknowledges he has nothing left to lose. If Steven was to constantly pop out of his head and check up on him, Lars would just be like, dude, what are you doing? Live your life. You gotta let me do this on my own. And this statement caused Steven to have a realization similar to Sadie's at the end of The Good Lars. Neither of them have the secret ingredient to fixing Lars. They can support him, they can be there for him, but they can't hold his hand the entire way. And that sounds like what the audience wants. They want Steven to just hold Lars' hand all the way back to Earth, and that's just not feasible. And frankly, we all know how this is going to end. Lars becomes a pretty kick-ass space pirate, so I think him and the Off-Colors were doing just fine without Steven. Does this mean Lars is perfect now? Of course not. I strongly believe he'll get too cocky in his newfound position, and that will lead to his downfall. But yeah, that's all I really had to say. This is just Lars' character arc. It's definitely a dire situation, but he needs to figure this out on his own. Now, Rebecca Sugar is a really big fan of One Piece, and I kind of feel like Lars here is supposed to be a homage and reference to Kobe. Now, quick One Piece spoilers, but in the beginning of the series, like the very beginning, Kobe's all small and scrawny and frail. But then many arcs later, this boy is stacked. And it was only like a couple of months in the series' actual timeline. We didn't see any of his journey, any of his character arc. We just went from point A to point B. Although I don't believe Lars is necessarily ripped now, but the idea still stands. What are your thoughts? Did this kind of change your perspective on the whole Lars thing? Or are you still pretty mad that 2 weeks went by in the show's timeline without Steven visiting him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet them directly to me at AwestruckVox or at Roundtable Vids. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at Roundtable Vids there as well, and on Snapchat at RoundtableYT. We also have a Discord, official Amino app, and Patreon. Pick up a yellow diamond or blue diamond shirt. Links to everything in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like, share it with your friends, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. Hit that bell for notifications so you can stay in the loop with all things Steven. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day. And AwestruckVox signing out.